Canadians are beginning to ask our NDP-Liberal government, where has our money gone? From record mortgage defaults and growing tent cities, the heartbreaking sight of food banks running dry, the quality of life for millions of Canadians is under siege. The grim reality is that our once great and prosperous economy has slipped and hangs on the precipice of an economic hellscape. The disaster of regressive woke ideology and policy is now always on display. In every major city, homeless encampments have become stark reminders of Justin Trudeau's failed policies. Ontario alone has recorded over 1,400 encampments in 2023, and that's just Ontario. This figure doesn't even account for the smaller towns, our rural areas, or northern communities who are grappling with similar crisis. Life in Canada is not what it once was. The Canadian promise, a country where hard work pays off with a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods, guided by the common sense of the common people, has been broken. After 9 years of Justin Trudeau and the NDP-Liberals, food insecurity is at an all-time high. In 2024 alone, Canadians made 7.7 million visits to food banks, with a record-breaking 2 million visits in a single month. Families who once donated to food banks are now struggling to feed their families. This calamity didn't happen by chance, even though Justin Trudeau is stepping down. The NDP-Liberals who supported him are still left in charge. Nothing will change. Our loss is the direct result of their economic incompetence, unchecked inflation, job losses, and policies that have overburdened our social systems. As inflation drives up the cost of living, Canadians are being forced to make impossible choices between the basic necessities. This isn't just a crisis of poverty. It's a crisis of opportunity, where our ability to build a brighter future is being stripped away. The cost of this mismanagement is clear as day. Years of scandalous inflationary spending and money printing have left even young Canadians facing a lifetime of debt. Each Canadian family now owes over $74,000 in debt. Food prices have risen 36% faster in Canada than in the United States, a disparity that began when Trudeau introduced the carbon tax on the farmers and truckers who bring us our food. The Bank of Canada's aggressive rate hikes aimed at curbing inflation have instead sent mortgage rates soaring, leading to record high defaults. Meanwhile, the job market hides the harsh reality of unemployment and job losses in key industries. And what was the NDP-Liberal government's grand solution? Poorly implemented mass immigration policies that were delivered to us with lies and virtue signals that not only failed to hide their incompetence, but just like everything this government touches, it fell apart and it amplified all of the problems. The over-immigration strained our resources and pulled us further into painfully high costs of living, laughably low wages, and crushed our quality of life. As all elected government officials should know, rapid increases in population without proportional investments in infrastructure and services strain us and our cities and schools and healthcare systems. This is basic economics. Immigration should be used to fuel economic growth, not stress an already broken system. We need real solutions, not Band-Aid policies. At the heart of the Conservative plan is a commitment to fiscal responsibility, which will aid in fixing the budget. Therefore, common sense Conservatives will prioritize investment into capital. This will boost productivity and economic growth. We must prioritize capital investment. New tools, technology, and infrastructure will empower Canadian workers to compete globally. This will unleash our national resources, distributing high-quality made-in-Canada products across the nation and across the globe, not to have us import overpriced, low-quality goods sourced from countries with unethical labor practices. We're going to fight to expand pipelines, improve mining technology, and support energy projects, because there's no such thing as a low energy rich country. We will also streamline regulation and reduce barriers. The NDP Liberal government's excessive regulations and taxes are choking businesses and discouraging investment. We will cut the red tape to open up hundreds of thousands of jobs, increase wages, revenue, and reduce the cost of living for every Canadian. The NDP Liberal government thinks that increasing capital gains taxes is going to help our productivity crisis, but in reality, it's going to reduce Canada's GDP by $90 billion, shrink per capita income by $3,000, and eliminate over 400,000 jobs within 5 years. We will scrap this policy in favor of measures that will attract investment, that will boost our productivity and foster innovation. Then, we will stop the out-of-control spending that only serves the NDP Liberal insiders, instead of Canadians, by capping spending with our dollar-for-dollar law, where every dollar of new government spending, we will find a dollar of savings elsewhere. This pay-as-you-go approach ensures that new initiatives are responsibly funded without adding to our national debt. This isn't just common sense, it's essential to controlling inflation and lowering interest rates. Canada is losing investment to other countries where businesses can operate with fewer constraints. Investors know this too. For example, at the end of 2022, Canadian direct investment in the United States reached over $1 trillion, representing 52% of all Canadian investments abroad. That's more Canadian investment pouring into the USA alone than into Canadian businesses. By slashing bureaucracy and cutting red tape, we will send a clear signal to businesses and investors that Canada is open for business. Canada has a competitive economic future where free enterprise can thrive, while our untapped potential in energy, mining, and forestry and agriculture can deliver massive results for Canadians. By developing these sectors, not only will the economy generate high-paying jobs and increase affordability for all domestic and commercial activity, it is essential for funding services like healthcare and education. Alberta, for example, has notably increased its development in its natural resource sector and in lower taxes, and it is the best performing province in GDP per capita in Canada, and the only province to exceed the USA's average of $76,000 in GDP per person. Texas also notably embraces free enterprise, has 10 million fewer people than Canada, but makes more than all the Canadian provinces combined. With an abundance of processed, ready-to-use natural resources, reduced taxes and regulations, Canada can and will unlock its potential and embrace free enterprise. Canadians deserve better than this NDP Liberal government and their regressive, woke policies. We deserve a government that prioritizes fiscal responsibility, job creation and growth, a thriving economy that rewards hard work with fair pay, a brighter future where Canadians can succeed, innovate, and build the lives they deserve. It's time to restore the Canadian promise. Let's get to work and bring it home. This movement doesn't stop here. Together, we need to axe the tax, build the homes, stop the crime, and fix the NDP Liberal government's broken systems that have held Canadians back for far too long. If you want to learn more on how we'll eliminate taxes burdening rural communities and working families, or how we'll tackle the housing crisis and build the homes Canadians need, make sure you don't miss any of the next videos in my series. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell.